Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Deborah Jones. I'm your Blue Table Talk host. And tonight we're going to talk to the school board. You know, this is still election time. And so we are climaxing pretty soon now. Tomorrow is the last day for early voting. So let's get on out there. If you have not voted yet, let's get on out there and vote because it is very critical that you vote in this election because this is a local election. Local in your city is more important than the national because these are the people you got to live with.
Right.
so, so tonight we have the school board. We have president of the school board district right now is Robert Dunn. So we're gonna talk to him in a little while. Before he do that, let me continue to talk about voting. Like I said, tomorrow is your last day for voting. The polls are open today and tomorrow from until 7 o'clock. So you have at least 30 more minutes to get to the polls. 30 more minutes to get to the poll. And tomorrow night will be the same time from 7 to 7. Okay, so after that, you have Saturday, which is election day.
Right.
Election day, the polls will be open from 7 to 7. That's May 6th. And so you need to put in the person of your choice and the best qualified person. Just don't put them in because they're your friends. Just don't put them in because you know them from XYZ or that's your daddy's daddy or whatever. Put them in because they are qualified. So with that being said, we're going to talk to, like I said, we're going to talk to Robert Dunn tonight. And he is the president. Right now, he's president of the school board, but he's running. So I want to know why are you running for school board not again, and what are your qualifications?
Okay. Well, first of all, my qualifications is, well, first of all, good evening, everyone. I appreciate you guys being on here this afternoon to be able to ask me some questions because we are being elected again. My name is Robert C. Dunn Sr. I'm a product of BISD, graduated from Charlton Poly with my friend Deborah here in 1970. Joined the military, served 26 years United States Navy submarine service. A lot of training there, a lot of leadership ability there. Retired, was living in Hawaii. Both my parents got ill and had to come back home to Beaumont, Texas. Worked at Jefferson County State School for 4 years, taught at Ozan High School for 10 years, and then went to Memorial and took over their program, Naval Science ROTC program, for 5 years. I learned after I retired the second time in 2015 that I thought kids got out of control when they left middle school and came to high school. That's all I had taught was high school. But I found out when I went to Peach MacArthur as a sub, supposed to have been there like 6 days. I was there 6 months. That's where it started. I mean, these kids were completely out of control. We had little preschoolers there that were cursing out these volunteer grandmothers and kicking them and spitting on them and biting them. And I'm like, oh my God. And during the lunch times, I was talking to some of the teachers there, and a lot of them was just deciding to no longer wanting to teach. They was going to either retire or quit, just straight up quit, because these kids are out of control. And I'm saying it can't be that big of a deal since I ran our ROTC program and all of my kids were in order because ROTC was built on discipline and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when we think from the outside, we're looking at things and think it's, I don't understand why it is the way it is. And that's why a lot of people run for the board and they're not qualified. Well, I quickly found out that everything that I thought I could do, I can't. And the reason for that is there are laws now that prevent us from doing a lot of things that we want to do. People say, well, these kids are out of control. Why don't y'all just throw them out of school? Well, guess what? There's a law against that. The law says we have to teach them. So that's what we've been doing. I've heard comments about, well, you know what? Teachers are leaving Beaumont. They're going all over the state. They're going to different places here. Why don't y'all give the teachers a raise? Well, I'm going to give you some facts. In 2014, when the board of managers took over, they were not tasked with giving teacher raises. They were tasked with getting the finances straight again. Not too much action happened with them as far as getting the finances straight because we were over 120 teachers short throughout that entire period. So if you're paying a sub, vice paying a teacher's salary, guess what? You're going to have a lot more money. And that's what they did. They didn't spend much of it now, but they had a lot more. They did not address many of the teachers' issues, the personnel issues. They were concerned about finances. So consequently, we lost a lot of our teachers. Those are the things that most people don't know. In 2015, there was a law on the books for the school district or the state of Texas that your kid had to come to school. If they missed 10, 12 days, guess what? You had to come to court and you had to pay a fine for your child missing all these days. But when they stopped that law back in 2015, we lost control of the school district. So the reason why we can't give teacher raises is because, first of all, we got behind from 2014 to we got back with an elected board back in 2019. When I got on the board in 2019, in May, I was elected in May of 2019. We didn't actually get seated until February of 20. And right after that, the pandemic hit. So now we were already behind, and the pandemic just made us even further behind. As far as giving raises here, we would love to give the teachers a raise. But since 2017, the district has lost 13.5 million dollars. And that's solely on ADA, average daily attendance, because we don't send our kids to school. One thing follows another. We have to have discipline in the schools, number one, so we can retain our teachers and hire more teachers, certified teachers. We can keep the ones we got and stop the ones that are not ready for retirement from leaving. Then we can be competitive with the other districts in this area. People say, well, we're going to go to other districts toward Houston, and that's fine. We can't change what has happened in the past, but we can do is change what's going on going forward. We have this company coming in now to take over our field in schools, 3 of them, and they're able to pay $75,000 a year because of the extra money that they're going to be receiving. A couple of things that we can do, we can emulate what they're doing if it is successful, and then do that ourselves. Okay. But I'm a firm believer. Now listen to me. It's like a domino effect. I'm a firm believer that if we get control of our schools, we can stop the teachers from leaving. We can have the students learning. We got 97% of our kids doing what they're supposed to do. And that 3% is tearing the district down. Those kids that's on the fence, that 3% is affecting them. And then they're not doing what they're supposed to do. But if we start at the top with getting control of our kids, that's the first thing. And have our kids sitting down in the classroom seats learning, the STAR test scores will go up. We'll get those schools, those failing schools out of IR, and then our kids can move forward in a peaceful setting where we can go corporations to come here and bring business here. And so everybody wins. This is a community, Beaumont City issue. This is not just a BISD issue. It affects us. It affects you. It affects everybody in your community. Now, everybody, it looks at the news, or you hear what's going on the news every day, in the news, on the newspaper. Just look at the news every day. Some of our kids are getting in trouble, doing things that they should not be doing. And I'm just getting sick and tired of it, which that's something that we could stop. I don't know if y'all remember when Deborah and I was in school and before we graduated, there was a commercial that came on TV every night at 10 o'clock. It says it's 10 o'clock. You know where your children are. We have kids getting into trouble at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I guess the parents are unaware that their kids not even at home. We got to stop this. Used to be that the community raised kids. We need to go back to that. I think some people say, well, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. My kids doing what they're supposed to do. Well, guess what? All those kids that's not doing what they're supposed to do or have parents that's not making them do what they're supposed to do, they are affecting your lives also. Because some of these kids are stealing your cars, breaking into your house, assaulting you. This is still a BISD, Beaumont city community issue. So we are Beaumont, all of us. The school district is just a part of it. So my plan is to get back control of this district. And we have a plan to do that, to make the parents accountable for their children. When I get elected again this time, I want to have community meetings at Rogers Park, over on Lucas, at the library over there. The setting over there, and also on Finette. so we can contact the parents and the community and let them know, look, we can no longer do what we're doing. We can't keep doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different result. We changing the curriculum. We're trying to hire more police officers. We're trying to hire more public service officers. We need more parents. We need more community to help. I tell anybody anytime that they would listen, join PAC, Parents and Community Support, where you can get certified to come help us. And all you need to do is get certified, volunteer some hours a week, 1, 2, 3 hours a week, whatever you can do, and come and see what the teachers and staff see every day on a daily basis. I would tell anybody anytime that they will listen, the child that leaves your house in the morning, that's not the same child that arrives at school. Because we got kids saying and doing things at school that they wouldn't dare say at home or do. And you need to see this and see how out of control this is. The teachers, the principals, the staff, everyone is doing their very best. No teachers out there trying to harm your kids. I have actually witnessed parents come up there and curse out teachers and want to fight the teacher because of what their child has said. And I wish that we could have cameras in the classroom so you can see what's going on. Or you can just come up there and walk around and just stand there and see what kids are doing on a daily basis. We got many kids just come to school and eat and skip classes while you at school every day. Every day that your child miss, every class your child missed after 10 o'clock, hey, that's money. So the district is losing a lot of money. We have gone from over 18,000 kids in BISD to 16,700. That is millions of dollars that could be going for teacher salary, for improvement of our buildings, every maintenance, everything that we need help with. We would have this money if we all work together. But if you're sitting here and you're bashing the district on Facebook or any of these social media sites without even asking a question, without even getting the facts, I tell people all the time, look, all of our information is on the website for BISD. My phone number, my personal phone number, my email address. Call me. I have answered many questions, dispel many rumors, and put the truth out there. Sometimes the truth is harsh, but you need to understand that this is the truth, and we need help. And I tell anybody anytime, if you think you can do it better, guess what? Then you run for the school board, get elected, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There are folks out there challenging us right now for the school board and making comments about things that they think they can do it better because they're younger and we just out of touch with reality. That has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. This has everything to do with us working together as a community to get control of our children so we can have these scores go up, our children go off and be successful in life instead of being locked up. I'm tired of seeing these kids being locked up. Lives are just thrown away. We need some help. We don't need it next year, next week. We need it right now, today. And that's why I'm running for re-election, so we can finish what we started. We have a plan in place, and we're going to initiate it before this school year starts, the next school year starts. So that's why I'm asking for your vote.
So why do you think that a lot of teachers are leaving BISD and going to these other schools that they're forming right now? I think it's Phil Price and Jones Clark. I know they're offering a substantial amount of money over there.
Right.
And that they're leading towards those schools. Why do you think of that? Because the money.
Personally, I think the money has a lot to do with it, but a lot of these issues is based on discipline. Majority of our teachers are great, outstanding teachers, and they want to teach. Nobody becomes a teacher to get rich, and we already know that.
Yeah.
You have to have a passion for doing
Absolutely.
this. So you have to have a passion for doing this in the first place. So the bottom line is, if we have to get some outside entities to come in and help, and they can afford with the assistance that they're getting with money to pay you $75,000, of course somebody's going to go from $50,000 to $75,000. I would too. That's money. But if you do not get control of your kids, it doesn't matter how much money you got.
Right.
You're not going to change the environment of what's going on in this school district. You have to have the kids sit down to learn. Your kids do not come to school to find a girlfriend, boyfriend, or just to eat or fight. They should be coming there to learn, and the parents should be concerned about that.
But like you just said, like I know because I'm an educator, and once an educator, you always be an educator.
Right.
You know that, like I know that discipline starts at home, and we get a lot of people. We could call these parents all day, and no
Right.
one, and they're not answering the phone.
Right.
And so, as far as Johnny, we have a discipline problem with Johnny, and then we have Mary Jane over there. She's having a discipline problem. You can't teach a class like that.
Correct.
And so, what do you do in those instances? And the state law said if you have a child who's interrupting the classroom, they would have to be removed from that class.
Yes. Yes. Let me tell you this. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got, and trying to get in touch with these young parents that their attitude is that, okay, well, he's not here with me, he's with you, then he's your responsibility. Unless something happens to that child, and all of a sudden now you up at the school district angry, but you don't see what your child is doing on a daily basis here, okay? Yeah, we're responsible for educating your child, but we're not responsible for raising your child.
Babysitting.
So what's happening here is we are losing a lot of our students. Excuse me. Well, we're losing students too, but we're losing a lot of our teachers because of this attitude that we have. Okay, you have to be responsible for your own child. So when I retired in 2015 and then went back and started subbing, I didn't quite understand this because my ROTC program was built on discipline and respect, so I didn't have these issues. And then when I found out that these little kids were out of control, excuse me, and I said, somebody has to do something about this. We can't continue to do this. Now I'll see what's going on. Okay. The state law tells us that if this child is doing something, okay, we have to jump through all these hoops first before we can discipline your child. We got to see if this child has a mental problem, their home background. Are they homeless? Okay. What's going on in their life? You just can't discipline that child and say, oh, well, you did it, so that's the end of the road. I mean, you're going to get consequence. So we have to jump through all these hoops first. And sometimes these kids are repeat offenders, okay? And that's some of the things that I want to stop. The state says I have to teach your child. It does not say where. So I want to take those kids that are habitual abusers and have a consistent discipline issue every year that you're there, and the parents know this. And if you don't want to help, saying it's the district's problem, then I need to remove them from that setting so that the majority of those other kids can learn. And the plan for that is to move them over to Pathway. Now, I know most people know, or many people know, that we're adding an additional 150 seats at Pathway.
When the Pathway starts with high school or middle school?
We have some for the little kids now over at Fletcher, which we didn't used to have.
Well, okay.
And so we can take the other ones.
Do you remember the camp that we used to take the kids to?
Right. We used to do that. We don't have that anymore.
Okay.
But now what we can do, and I don't want to do, I would rather work with the parents and the community and come in and just stand and join pack, come in and help us. Okay. Just stand there and look and see what we see on a daily basis. We had an issue with the phones. We put on the agenda to issue every kid a pouch, a magnetically sealed pouch, so that they can put those phones in there.
Right.
In the beginning of school, exactly. And then at the end of school, you come through the door, automatically unlocks it for you, and then you can go about your business. Well, they wanted to get the community's input first. You would have thought we were trying to kill every kid in the whole district. The community lost their mind.
Oh yeah, because there are parents who tell you in a minute, I want my child to have that phone.
Right. And guess what's happening with your child with that phone? Mm-hmm. Even the good kids. Mm-hmm. Okay. The kids that's doing what they're supposed to do. They got earbuds in their ear the whole time they're in school. Mm-hmm. So how much learning you think is going on when they listen to music while they're studying in class? If you try to take that phone, they would rather go home for 3 days. So I asked the question, I was saying, well, answer me this. What did we used to do before we had cell phones? Well, my baby, I can't call my baby. Well, you're not supposed to be calling your baby. Your baby's supposed to be in class. You're supposed to be at work. Well, what if there's an emergency? What if there's an active shooter? I say, now look at this scenario here. I'm a teacher. I have 25 kids in my class. There's an active shooter on campus. There's a procedure I have to go through to make sure your child is safe, to get your child to safety. But I got 25 parents calling 25 children in my class. So they're not listening to me. They're listening to you, who don't know the situation in that classroom.
No protocol, yes.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get your kid to safety, and you calling them, people are going to get hurt unnecessarily. So that's why we do this little training that we're doing to see if we can, to make sure that these kids are safe. We're adding those vegetables to those middle schools and high schools. It should be done before school start, where it's like a chamber. When you walk in, you be locked in this box and show your identification. And if you valid to be able to go through, they'll open the other door. All the elementaries have them. That's one of the issues we had with Lucas Pre-K, because we had some questions about that. It would take over $8 million to get this school back up to par. And what people don't understand, that's not a local school. Those kids go there and then they go to elementary the next year. So it's not like, they growing up in Lucas. That's just a holding pattern there for pre-K kids. And then they go into their prospective elementary school wherever you live in the city. So that would be, in my opinion, a waste of $8 million, okay, to get that little school up to code. Those teachers who were informed are going to go still do the same thing that they're doing. And Lucas Pre-K was doing an outstanding job, because I used to go down and read to the kids. But they're going to go do the same thing on their prospective elementary campuses. So we're trying to keep these kids safe, okay? We're trying to make sure that they're learning. We're trying to retain our teachers. We're trying to give all our other staff raises in the cafeteria, maintenance workers, custodians, everybody, bus drivers. I tell them every time we get a quarter, you guys get a nickel, because we're trying to retain people. But we're not going to catch up in no 1-2 years from what happened from 2014 to 2023. It's just not going to happen.
Robert, I'm going back to those schools, Fair Price and Jones Clark. Are they tied to BISD?
Are they tied to? I don't understand what you mean. The question.
Are they a part of BISD?
Yes, they are. They still are schools. They're just being ran by them.
Okay, so they still. So they just being ran by another company.
Right.
Okay. Let me talk to my listening audience, because I see a lot of questions out here, and really from the same person. Thank you, Cheryl. Well, anyway, thank you guys for joining me on Blue Table Talk today. I appreciate your questions. Go ahead and hit that share button and let them know that Robert Dunn is on with the school board. He's president of the school board. He's running for re-election. And so I know a lot of people have not voted yet. I do know that. And we still have 2 days. We have 5 minutes left. Well, really 7 minutes left today or tonight to vote at the poll. That's close to 7 o'clock. Then we have tomorrow, last day for early voting, which will be from 7 to 7. Then we're going to come back. We're going to rest a couple of days, and we're coming back on Saturday for voting as well from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So go ahead and hit that share button, because sharing is caring. Let them know that Robert Dunn is on. Robert Dunn Sr. is on. And he's here with the school board. He's running the re-election of the school board at large. So Cheryl says, all teachers are not good teachers. Some don't know how to interact with the students, as well as children who don't know how to interact with the adults.
I agree.
So she also said TEA has teachers' hands are tied on discipline.
I agree.
She says, I would love to hear your plan.
Gotcha.
And she says, some act the same way at home. You doggone right. And they act the same way at home. And believe in enforcement of the curfew for the children. So thank you.
Well, Cheryl, I'll tell you what, everything you just said is 100% correct. I agree with everything that you just said. Our hands are tied on certain things that we can do. And that's why I said our plan is to get back control of our campuses that are being disruptive by some of our children. And like I said before earlier, the state says we have to teach them. It doesn't say where. So what we're going to try to do is that percentage of kids that habitually are disrupting these campuses, we need to get them off of those campuses. And we added, like I said before, 150 extra seats at Pathway. Of course,
And
now
they go
we have to fortify Pathway, making sure that they have what they need for these kids that are incoming.
and you
But
said for the
several
elementary
things,
school it's gonna be Fletcher, right?
I'm sorry.
You said for the elementary school for
Yeah,
discipline it's
right,
gonna be Fletcher.
right.
So
So
Fletcher's not gonna be a regular school as it is, or what?
no, it's still we have it right now. We
Oh,
have it right
okay.
now. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So what the deal is? Listen to me. What the deal is? If we could take that small percentage of kids that habitually are being disruptive and being insubordinate and a discipline problem off of each one of these campuses, then those that are left that's on the fence, some of our good kids that's just leaning that way because they see other kids doing it, monkey see, monkey do, then we could stop this. Several things going to happen. Okay. The teachers will be able to teach. Their hands don't need to be tied because you're not spending 50 to 6% of your instructional time trying to get little Johnny to sit down and listen and learn. Okay. So that's the first thing. Secondly, those kids will score better because they're sitting down in their seats and they're learning. So we get the star scores to go up. We can get some of these schools out of IR. So it's like a domino effect, but it starts at the top. And the top is getting back control of our schools. So these are some very good questions here. And our plan is to do that. Now, when I win, my plan is to hold meetings, community meetings. We don't do this in a vacuum, okay? We've been having quarterly meetings with the city council and the mayor. And whomever wins, it doesn't matter, even if I'm here or not. I want them to continue to do that. But what I want them to do, because we're partnering together, is get control of our children. I'm also a part of a group headed by Reverend Adolph. Okay. And what we're trying to do is from the community side, seeing what we can do to assist the district, okay, in getting control of our kids. And that group is called Maximum Impact. We had a forum over at Antioch, and a lot of good questions was asked. Okay. And part of that was like what I was saying about those phones. I don't want to take kids' phones. Okay. The rule was they should not have had their phones out during the instructional period. Okay. Even when that was a rule, the kids broke the rule. They just kept doing it. So if you're walking around with earbuds in your ear in class, okay, even though the phone is not being shown, you are breaking the rule. Okay. You are not learning 100%. You're not. Before I even got on the board, I would go through the schools and walk around before I got seated. And kids were everywhere. They were not listening to the teacher. They were being disruptive, and everybody had a phone out. And the rule was you're not supposed to have a phone during instruction period. So they are not following the rules. When we decided to put this on the agenda about those yonder pouches, people were saying, "Oh, y'all didn't even give the kids a chance. Y'all just want to take their phones, and you didn't give them a chance to put them away." Well, we've done that. They never slowed down with the phones. It was said, well, I asked the question, well, what did we used to do before we had cell phones? If there's an emergency, call the school. They'll get your child and bring them to the office. If there's an active shooter on campus, though, and all these kids are listening, trying to listen to you call them, you are endangering your child's life. Because now that teacher trying to follow protocol to get your child to safety, but now they're too busy trying to answer the phone. Can you imagine having an active shooter on campus and that teacher's trying to get these kids under control and get them out of that classroom and get them to safety, or get them into hiding in place, and the phones are ringing? Can you imagine that? A lot of extra kids will get harmed when they should not have. So what I wanted to do was make sure that your child is 100% learning the whole time that they're in school. The premise behind this having those yonder pouches is each kid will be issued one. When you come to school, they will witness you put that phone in that pouch, and it would magnetically seal it. At the end of the school day, you walk out and it unlocks it. If it is an active shooting and you need to get in touch with your kid, one of the things that's going to happen, the teacher is going to have the ability to unlock those phones. Okay, if we need to do that. But in most cases, we probably won't need to do that. Okay. There were some questions from the community about, well, how am I going to get in touch with my child throughout the day? Why are you calling your child throughout the day? Why can't you just call the office and they'll go get your child or give them a message or whatever you need to do? What if it's an emergency? Okay, call the office. They'll get your child. It's not going to take that long. But we need to get control of these phones. These kids are not learning with these phones in their hand. They're not. And they could be learning much, much more. Their star scores would go up immensely if they was in their seats, not listening to music and actually learning. The teachers will be able to teach, the kids will be able to learn. And that's one of the things that we need to change right now.
I have never in my life seen so many students with attitude problems.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. It's just horrible. And like I said, once a teacher, always teach. You know, I taught for umpteen years. I'm not gonna tell you because then y'all would know my age. So, and I'm not gonna ever tell you I never had problems. I did have a couple of problems, but I was a hard teacher. You know, very instructive. You know, you come in my classroom, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna learn. And Cheryl Jackson, right here, who's texting all this stuff, she could tell you because I taught her child.
Okay.
And so I didn't play with my kids. If you didn't want to learn, then I'm gonna call the parent and let them know, come get your child. Because I'm here to teach you. I'm not here to babysit.
Right.
But the thing is, we are in BISD right now. We are losing a lot of good teachers.
Yes, we are.
A lot of good teachers behind Bullcorn.
Right.
And I know one of them is about the pay.
Right.
You know, I know teachers don't make enough money.
Right. I agree.
They don't make enough money. And if they can go to a school that's paying $77,000 a year, hell, I go too. You know? So, you know, it's not about because I don't like this school, I don't like this principal, I don't like whatever. It's because I need more money. And whatever it takes. You know, whatever it takes, because I am working hard to get these children where they need to go, then why can't BISD pay the teachers?
The school, the people that we got partnering with us to be able to do that is getting extra money. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. We don't have that extra money. And they're not going to have that extra money forever. So they need to get on the ground floor until we get back control of the schools, and we're going to get our schools back. Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, like I said before, when the state took over BISD in 2014,
I remember
until 2019, no money was spent. No money was spent. We was over 120 teachers short. And so, like I said before, of course we had a lot extra money because we were paying sub pay. The kids were not learning anything. I subbed, okay, after I retired from teaching. I came in and subbed. And I had some of my kids in ROTC that was taking an algebra course and said, you know what, Senior Chief, our teacher haven't been there so long. We've been having a sub. They hand us a packet every day and say, just go ahead and do the work. And we had questions and they couldn't answer the questions. So we're not learning anything. So when you have kids that come to you, most kids would take that A and go about their business. But these were concerned students that wanted to learn. Out of the top 50, I think 13 of them was in ROTC. And one of them was a couple of the top was in the top 10.
Right.
And so what we did is scrubbed our curriculum in ROTC for the second semester. Mm-hmm. And we did Khan Academy for algebra and geometry. And all of our kids passed their math, all of them. So when you got concerned kids that want to learn, okay, you got to go out of your way and do what you need to do that. So we couldn't afford to pay a lot of teachers back then, so we didn't have them. A lot of people left the district after 2014 and all that mess that was going on. Okay. So what people don't understand is say, well, y'all just need to pay them teachers that money. Y'all get money. We get money because of ADA, okay, average daily attendance.
Right.
And we have lost over $13 million since 2017 because people want to send their kids to school. And like I said earlier, when they changed the law back in 2015, and the parents were no longer held accountable for not sending your kids to school, where they had to pay that fine, we lost control. They don't send their kids to school. They don't discipline their kids. So we don't have this extra money that we should have to be able to give our teachers raises like we should. Now, since I've been on the board, we've given them raises. We've given them bonuses. Ask the teachers. They have gone up from what they were before I got on the board. And we got a lot of our time taken away because, like I said, I got elected in May of 2019, but we didn't get seated to February of 20. And in March 20, the pandemic hit. So we got behind even more. But you need to give us an opportunity here to correct that and move forward. And a major part of that is discipline. Now, like I said, in ROTC, I didn't have that problem. Literally did not have that problem. I told them it's only one grown up in this room, and that's me. If you're grown, you need to leave, go out there and get you a job. Have your mama check you out of school and go get you a job. But if you're still a child, you should remain a child and set your little butt down and learn. But we're not going to go through all this. You having an attitude, you having a bad day, so I need to make excuses for your behavior. When I was a kid, that was not allowed.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me, boy, if that phone ringing and it's a teacher on the other end saying you did, that's a wrap. You're in serious trouble.
Because we know you did.
Right. But right. But when I was in ROTC, I used to tell my kids, let me explain something to you. I don't care what the entire campus is doing, as long as you don't do it. Don't break the rules. I don't want your pants down. At the time, it was something about boys wearing earrings. If the rule is don't wear earrings, you don't wear them.
Well.
And some of the kids just always say, well, you guys in ROTC, y'all always messing with us. Don't nobody else do nothing. And y'all always, I said, well, that's the deal. It's a rule. If you tell me it's a rule, it's a rule. I'm going to enforce it. Now, when the administration tells me it's no longer a rule, guess what? I won't talk to you about it anymore. But as long as it's a rule, I'm going to enforce that rule. And so we need to go back to that, to everybody following the rules. We need the parents to help us get their children under control. We're not there to raise your child. Now, if some raising get done along the way of us teaching, then that's a good thing. But a teacher is spending between 50 and 60% of their instructional time trying to get your child under control. They're being cursed out. They're being assaulted. They're being disrespectful. Expected. And when you call the parent, some parents say, well, you the teacher, but we can't touch them. We can't do them anything. And so if you take their phones away, that child would rather go home for 3 days than give up that phone. So now we see what's more important. When I was teaching, I was at Ozan High School. We used to ask this question here about coming to PTA meetings or goals night, all these different things we used to do. And sometimes I would not have one parent come over there toward where we were teaching at. I mean, it's sad. But I said, now, if we throw a basketball or football game between Central and Ozan, you can't even get in the stadium. I remember one game, they were climbing the fence. Why are we not that enthusiastic about our children's education? Every little Johnny is not going to be a superstar basketball, football player. Okay. We need to be concerned about our kids' education, because if we don't give it to them, they're going to get educated in prison. I'm sick and tired of seeing our kids on the evening news every day, in the newspaper every day, getting in trouble, going to jail. So one of these little kids that got in trouble for a shooting we had here in Beaumont a couple of weeks ago was one of my daughter's classmates from West Orange. Okay, this is sad that our life is lost. Okay, so I want to continue our partnership with the city, the mayor and the city council. I want to talk to the community and the parents. When I get elected this time, I want to have those community meetings so each section of town can understand what we're trying to do. Nobody's trying to hurt your child. These teachers just want to teach because they're certainly not getting rich. And for them to try to keep hanging in there, even though they're getting cursed out every day, assaulted, blamed about what little Johnny did or did not do, that there were issues here going on where we had to literally lock the bathroom doors. Kids were going in there having sex. They were vaping. They were smoking. So we had these things where we can tell when you're smoking in the bathroom now. All these things that we're trying to do. We're trying to get these safety measures in place to make sure your child is 100% safe. We have an audits where they're going around and the police chief and his people are going around checking the doors, make sure nobody can get on campus. I went over there to Guest Elementary when I was doing, but when school started, and I went to all the different schools, and the fence was down back there. People just walk on campus. These are the kind of things that we need to address, and we are addressing, and we taking care of that to make sure your child is safe. But we need your help. Over there, guess I asked the principal. I says, "Why are these kids getting picked up before the last period?" They were picking them up so they didn't have to wait in line. I said, "Are you serious? These kids are getting checked out of school. We still have a class to go. This is insane. So that you don't have to wait in line to pick up your child."
You know, I used to get in trouble because if a parent came early to pick their child up, if it wasn't a medical reason, that child ain't going. I'm sorry, you're just not going. Because now at the last minute we doing this. You can get grade for that,
right?
So Sally's not going. Wait a couple of more minutes and we'll be out of school. I mean, parents used to like hate me. I didn't care.
Well, the thing is, like they need to understand if it's about your child's education.
About your child's education.
They have to let them, I mean, if your child is failing, if we had like the Saturday stuff, we had the summer schools where we actually let them go for free, and they still would bring the kid. I'm not understanding this. I'm not. Okay, I'm just not. So we need to partner together, and if there's a question that you have or a concern that you have, and it's not being addressed, our information is on the website. Call me. And all the people that have called me or text me or email me, I have answered their questions. I don't dodge anybody. So those are the things that you can help doing. But like I said before, all those that think what I'm saying is not true, join PAC, where you can get certified and you can come on campus and give us a couple of hours a week and just stand there and look and see what we see. I'm sorry, let me turn this off.
Terry Rod let's go ahead and knock some of these questions out.
Okay,
Terry Rod says, is there a state mandate on class size, and does Mr. Dunn think it needs to be lowered?
There was an issue here with our special kids, and I think it was moving them up 2 kids a class. I think that's what the issue here. We had to get permission to do that. And it wasn't like we were trying to go to 35 kids a classroom. Okay. That was something that we had to get approval to do that with. And there was a mandate for the size of the kids. So we wanted to do I think it was 2 extra kids.
Right.
So that was the issue at that time. Now, right now we're doing okay.
I asked one of your school board members earlier that came on the podcast.
Okay.
Why is it that the board can't walk through the schools and check these schools out?
Okay. I have gone to the majority of all of our schools. When school first started, I was in Central, Beaumont United, and Westbrook on a daily basis. Okay. We're supposed to let the superintendent know that we're going to whatever school it is. Okay. And we're supposed to follow the rules, check in, have your identification on. Okay. Not disturb the classes. And I have done that, followed the rules. I've let her know that I'm, that I'm at this school. And what thing I didn't want to do, and I don't know if anything would happen about that, but I wanted to just go. And then once I got there, I'll let you know. I didn't want to call you up and say, "Oh, he's coming."
Right.
And you get the word out, "Oh, the board president coming." So now what am I going to see when I get there?
Everybody's going to be doing the right thing.
There you go. So
but do you remember a while back when they had the jump out team? And they do you remember a while back when they had the jump out team that was Catherine Chavis and her team? They would come to the schools and walk through the school and see what everybody. People didn't know they were coming.
Right.
Until they got to that door.
Let me ask you this question. And if you're doing your job, what difference does it make?
Your job.
Right. So I would follow the rules. I would not open your door. I would not look in the window. I wouldn't stand in there staring at you. I would not have you stop your class to talk to me. I would follow the rules. I would bring my badge. I would sign in like everybody else and sign out. I would not disrupt your class. I would not go during testing time. But yes, we can go to the schools. But the one thing I wouldn't do is call you up in advance and tell you I was coming. Right. Now, when I got there, texted and said, "Okay, I'm over at BU or I'm over at Westbrook." but I wanted to see you doing your job. Now, if you were not doing your job, I didn't stop you and say, Deborah Jones, you know what? Why you sitting down reading the book with your feet up on the desk? Or why you not walking around this classroom teaching like you're supposed to be doing? Or why you laughing and joking in here with the kids? Or your class is tore up and they just running around the room? I would go to our one employee, which is the superintendent.
Right.
And yes, we can go to these schools.
Well, I want to put this out here because this lady's talking about me.
What?
Miss Jones is a phenomenal teacher, and she had her permission to handle my child if he ever got out of line. Oh, thank you, love. He never got out of line though.
Yeah, but that's not the average. And when I was in ROTC, I had a permission slip from all of my parents. I had to have that before they could even be in ROTC. So I used to tell the parents, if I got to call you about your child at Ozan High School, you need to bring some bail money, because anything short of that, okay, you're not going to ever be needed at this school ever. And I only had 2 complaints in the 10 years I was there. And one of those kids got straight in a hurry because my mama realized the truth of what was going on. And the second one was in all 3 of our high schools. The last time I saw her, she was out of school and working at Casa Olay as a waitress. Okay. So the bottom line here is most people don't want you to say anything to their child because they believe what their child are telling you. I've seen where I've had parents to come in and actually show them the video of what their child was doing. And some of the answers I got, well, if she did that, then somebody must have done her something first. And I said, you know what? That's why they keep doing that, because they know mama going to come down here and believe what you done told them. And so now you want to curse out the teacher or jump on the teacher. Back in the day, that would have never happened, ever. Walk in the halls. Back when you and I was in school, the only person who could walk the hall was an office aide, or you had a pass in your hand. You would not be out there walking around. When school first started, I thought it was like class change in the middle of the class period.
Right.
We had freshmen all over the campus. I'm like, what is going on? Y'all do not see what I see. And so that's why some of the changes in place now is in place. How do you go to school every day? Your mom dropped you off to school every day. But in a semester here, you got 20 absentees, but you at school every day. No, ma'am. No, sir. We can no longer do this. So we're not going to do that.
So what are the primary responsibilities of a local school?
Of a who now?
What are the, excuse me, I'm getting on church. What are the primary responsibilities of a local school board?
We make policy. We run the school board. We make decisions on what the superintendent gives us. We have one employee, which is the superintendent. If she wants extra money, if she wants to switch money around, some of the programs that they want to institute, whatever they want to do has to go through the school board. We make a command decision on how this is going to go. That's why during the school board meetings, they have to come and talk to us and explain what it is that they're talking about. So we get these board books. Some of them are really thick, and we have to read everything that you're trying to do or that you want to do and see if that's something that we want to spend money on. And sometimes we have to get the community support for doing that. Okay. So that's what the board is responsible for. Everything that the school district does is the responsibility of the school board. The school board hires the superintendent. We have one employee, that is the school superintendent. So she or he has to do whatever it is that the board has hired them to do. And so that's what our job is.
It's old saying that the administrators are afraid of the school board afraid of the parents afraid of the children ain't afraid of nobody.
That's right, but obviously they never met the school board president today. He's not afraid of anyone, because like I said before, first of all, you don't pay me. So I'm not going to lose my job and my pay, okay? Because I don't get anything. And before, a lot of the things that I was doing before would come out of my own pocket. When I was teaching, A lot of the money that I spent for these kids came out of my pocket. Okay. So there's no threat here. I'm already retired twice. So it is what it is. I want to help us get control of our school district by partnering with the community leaders, the mayor, city council, and our parents. But we need to do this together. And I'm telling everybody out there that's listening to this, you need to spread the word. We need to get our children under control. This is a serious issue today. We no longer can wait. Okay. So starting this next school year, we need to work together to get our kids under control. And watch what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm telling you. It will change drastically if we had some help. I'm not sitting here bashing parents or bashing the community. All I'm doing is asking you for some help with your children. And some may say, well, you know what, my kids are grown, my grandkids are too old, all this kind of stuff. You still pay taxes.
Yeah.
Whatever our kids out there are doing, they're affecting you too. Whether it's good or positive. I tell people every day, 97% of our children are doing what they're supposed to do, and they want to learn. They want to do a good job. Their parents want them to do a good job. And it's 3% that are killing us. And I asked the question once before, media, y'all want us to have a great school district here so we can have corporations come, so we can have more businesses here in Beaumont. But on the news, you bashing us every day. All the great things that 97% of these kids are doing, you rarely hear about them. We got kids doing outstanding things.
Right.
But a lot of stuff that comes in is only the not so popular things that these kids are doing. And I asked one of the media staff before, so why do y'all do that? He said, because they were told they want the dirt. So we are one community, okay? We're one city. We in this together. This isn't the school board against the city council or the mayor. We all in this together, and we need to help each other because this is our city. It's our children. So no matter what, whether you have them or not, you're paying taxes or you're paying for them anyway.
Ms. Jackson says if all schools were on the same page and be consistent with the discipline, things would change. When you have a 19-year-old teaching a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, they all have the same mindset. Don't play with my child, educate him. And if his butt needs to be bust, so be it.
Cheryl, I wish we could actually do that.
I know.
But you're 100% correct. But there are rules against that now.
Rules.
In fact, it's a law. Okay, we can't do that. And like I said, when I was teaching and I retired in 2015, I still had permission to do that. Right. But that was a specific permission that I had from the parents. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because of the program, the Navy paid half our salary and the school district paid the other. And so to be in that, you didn't have to be in that. It wasn't elected. Okay. Mm-hmm. So even though we took care of your child, we couldn't make them take that class. Okay. But the ones that wanted to be in there, we took care of that by getting permission from the parent. Okay. That I would take care of your child while they was at school.
Right.
So if your child was doing something, I told the teachers, don't go round and round with little Johnny. Send him to my office. Now, if little Johnny didn't want to come to the office, don't worry about that.
I'm getting him.
So even the kids that was skipping, they wouldn't skip my class. Because if you was in my third period class and you was absent that day, I would ask the other kids, have y'all seen little Johnny this morning? Oh, yeah, he was in the first and second period. I said, okay, no problem. I'd have somebody watch my class, and guess what? I went and found your little butt. And we went back to class, and we took care of that. Then you didn't do that again. Today, you can't do that. So being on the same page, do you know how disheartening it is that if kid does something, you send them to the office, and they turn right around and send him back?
Yeah. You
have to jump through hoops to punish a kid. Okay, that's the first thing. And you have to understand, why is this child doing this? Does he have any specific issues here? Okay. What is his home life like? Okay. Has he ever been in trouble before? There's many different hoops that you have to jump through to even discipline this child. Sometimes you call the parent. You document when you call the parent. Okay, you document who you talk to.
Wait.
I mean, it's just very difficult to do things that you didn't have to do in the past.
But Tina wants to know what campus has a 19-year-old teacher. I'm sure that's probably a sub or whatever. Not even a sub could teach because they ain't got that 60 hours yet.
Well,
So
when I was teaching, we didn't have any 19-year-old subs,
yeah,
so I'm not sure.
that probably just a figure of speech, something like that. Probably just for a young kid.
They are young, and I'm gonna tell you why I know they're young. Because when I
Mm-hmm.
was teaching at Ozan, I went into the teachers' lounge up in the administrative office up there, and the student was just sitting in there eating. And I'm like, "Why are you in here?
Oh,
You need to get your lunch and get your little butt on up out of here because you know you ain't supposed to be in here." And she said, "Well, sir, I'm sorry, but they told me I could eat in here." I said, "Who is they?"
yes,
She
you're
said, "The administrators in the front office." I said, "We don't let children in here."
right.
She said, "No, sir, I'm subbing." I said, "Oh my God. I'm sorry, baby. Just go down and sit. Just ignore me, okay?" But yeah, we got young ones, and I don't advocate having really young teachers at high school
Mm-hmm.
because you're only a few years older than these kids, and I've
Right.
seen where they're not going to respect you
They
because
ain't gonna
you
respect
because
me.
you,
I'm
because
gonna
you
respect the 30-year-old, so you know you ain't gonna respect
right,
me.
right. I'm not saying that they can't do it. It's just that it's going to make a little difficult.
Kim Atkins says, I really feel for teachers. Some of these children are rude, disrespectful, and don't seem to care about getting an education. Who's to blame? The parents?
I think it's a mindset of our children today and the community that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a lot of parents because when I was teaching, I had a lot of parents, good parents, that was concerned about their kids, but they couldn't control them. I had a lot of single parents that had to work two jobs. I had a lot of grandparents that were raising kids, and it was just difficult to make them mind. And that's why I said in ROTC, you had to sign a waiver
Mm-hmm.
for me to be over your child at that school. So no matter if they was in my class or not, if there was an issue on that campus with that child, I dealt with it.
Right.
I had a parent, a male parent in Port Arthur, brought his kid to the school for me to discipline him because it was difficult for him to discipline his own child. And see, the thing is,
I would discipline the parent then.
well, you know what? See, you know what? A lot of these millennials, they don't want to, hurt their child's feeling. They're too busy trying to be their friend.
Bitch try to be their friend.
So when I tell people the story about when I was at Ozan, and a little girl told me, she said, "Well, senior chief, you doing a lot of things, good things for your wife. You buy nice presents. I don't have a whole bunch of money, but can you give me some ideas about presents for my mom?" I say, "Sure, baby. How old your mama?" "Well, she's gonna be 27." I said, "No, no, no. How old is she?" "She's gonna be 20." I said, "So your mama 26, and you in high school?" No, hold up, hold up. What? How old are you? "A freshman." And I said, "Oh my God." So we have a lot of young parents, okay? And I've seen where the parent would be really busy about being this child's friend.
Yeah.
And we have to stop that.
They too close to
Okay?
age. Let
Yeah,
me
I would never tell a parent how to raise their child because I wouldn't want anybody telling me. But at some point, if your child is not doing what he or she is supposed to be doing at this school, then we have a problem. And you need to assist us in addressing that problem because it's your child. And you're supposed to be raising your child. Like I said, we are required by state to teach your child,
Mhm.
okay, not raise them. Now, if they get a little raising along the way, hey, I'm good with that, okay. But we are not required to do that, and actually, we don't really have time to do that. If you got 25 kids in your class, you got to make sure all 25 of those kids are learning, okay. So I can't spend 40, 50, 60% of my instructional period time trying to make your child sit down so that the rest of the kids can learn. So that's why I said when I get reelected here, that's why I need your vote, is we are going to stop this. To keep doing the same thing the same way, expect a different result, this is not going to, I don't care what kind of curriculum you have. If the child is not going to sit down and learn, guess what? It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we need the community's assistance with doing this and the parents, but especially the parent. Now, if they can get this law passed back again through the legislature about you being responsible for your child and having to pay a fine if your child don't come to school, then it is what it is. We had better control of our children when you were required to monitor your kid coming to school, okay, and staying in school all day till it's over with. Now, I felt for some of those people because some of them, they didn't even know that this child was just skipping. And that's why I used to tell these teachers, look, y'all need to make sure that that parent know that that child has missed 2 or 3 days in a row. Call. Is he sick? I haven't seen him in a couple of days. Don't wait till the 10, 12 days is up. Then they call and say, oh, where's he at? Okay, wow, where was he at those first 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I used to ask my kids, if you missed my class, have y'all seen him or her today? And if they say yes, that means your little buddy's at school. So you skipping my class.
Yeah.
That was not allowed.
Let me say hello to my co-host. And she just popped in, and Miss Baby Girl. And so we have Toya Ozan, my co-host. Is there anything you need to say or want to say, Toya, before we go off?
Yes, I want to speak coming from a teenage mother myself.
Right.
I think that's a cop-out because my children, they didn't play. If I'm going to the schoolhouse, I'm going with a belt and I'm going to tear your butt up. If I feel comfortable with the teacher, they're allowed to spank you. But my children know I will go up to the school and act a fool. I don't have bad children, thank God. But I don't that people keep saying, oh, we have young parents. It's not an excuse. If you lay down and had a child, you need to be a woman or a man and raise your child respectfully. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I feel about it. And y'all need to have a dress code for parents coming to the schoolhouse in pajamas and bonnets. That exactly. To me, that's a reflection, of your parenting.
Right.
And I may make some people mad, and I'm sorry, Mama, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Y'all need to start caring about how you look, because you are setting a tone and an example for your daughters, and especially, what's the word, Mr. Dunn? As far as when men, if a man is gonna, how I want to say it, like if you dress provocative, that's what you're gonna attract, basically.
Yeah,
you are negative attention.
But, yes, sir, that's it. But yeah, I just don't feel that people keep giving people a pass because they're having children at a young age.
Oh, no. We don't. I don't give them a pass. I just want to let everybody know that we have a lot of young parents. Okay.
Yeah.
I had my first child out of high school when I was 18 years old, so I was a young parent. And a couple of years later, I had a daughter. Okay, but I was scared to death because first of all, I had to join the military.
Yeah.
And one of my first assignment was in Hawaii. So everything in Hawaii is expensive. And all of a sudden, I'm concerned because now I can't call my mama and say, what do I do, Mama? Because I had never written a check. And now I'm looking at two people, the mouths to feed, that I'm responsible for. Yeah. My mom did everything. I have to never worry about any of this. And I used to tell my kids, if you have a child, okay, that's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. We'll make excuses. You still got to live. You still got to take care of that child.
Right.
And I used to tell my little girls, okay, let's try not to do that. Because first of all, that looks cute to have a little girl with the little ribbons in her hair, those little frilly socks that y'all fold down, with them little drawers that they wear, them little frilly drawers on there.
The bloomers.
Yeah, okay, whatever they call. But at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when they got colic and they sick and you got to go to school the next day, or you want to go to the mall with your friends and your mama tell you, no, I'm not babysitting. It all ain't glamour. Okay, it's hard. It's really hard. And I should tell them about these little boys, these little pretty Rickies. I say, baby, don't do that. Don't do that. Worry about yourself. Okay, protect yourself. Okay,
have some self-work.
We all need.
Because a lot of these kids, they do these things and they end the win, and they try not to be responsible for what they've done. Okay, so my thing is, listen to me. We want to do for your children. I want these kids to learn. I don't like failing schools, but this is not rocket science.
Yeah, we
can do this as a community. We can do this. We can watch each other's kids. We can report to the parents. If we see them doing something, I should tell this story about on the corner of Pine Street in the North End and LaSalle when one of my neighbors came by and saw me smoking a cigarette and took me to her house and whooped me and had me sit down by the front door, the screen door, until my mama drove up. Then took me across the street and told my mom what I was doing, and she whooped me. And then when my dad got home, I got another whooping.
Yeah, that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
Guess what? I don't smoke. Okay, I don't smoke.
That was your last cigarette, huh?
There you go. So I'm just saying we need help. Okay, guys, we really do need help.
Yeah, we do.
And
that's why you're running again, so that we can vote for you for a school board. And he's president of the school board. So, and it's 2 at large, right?
Yes.
It's
yes.
2 at large.
It's two positions.
Okay.
And there's 4 people running.
Right.
So you can vote for 1, 2, or none.
Right.
So I really appreciate one of your votes, so I can continue what we're doing and finish what we're doing.
Right.
Because we have to get control of our kids right now.
And you stay in office 2 years or 4 years?
I'm sorry?
How long do you stay in office? 2 years?
4 years. 4.
Miss Jackson says she think that you graduated with her husband. And
well, her husband is really old, man.
And we did.
Who's her husband?
Titus Jackson.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we did.
So, Mr. Dunn, I have a question. So, like when my kids were in school, I signed a permission slip to discipline them if I felt comfortable. So they did away with that now?
I'm really not sure because we don't have it. I haven't seen any of that. So okay. I mean, it's like the district don't really want to get involved with that. I'd rather that the kids listened, and we didn't even have to threaten them with a whooping or whatever. Just do what you're supposed to do.
You were just supposed to do it and get it over with.
And I wouldn't feel comfortable disciplining someone's child right now today anyway. Because if something happens or you mistakenly live a whelp on them or whatever, the district does not want to get sued. Okay, so.
And you know what's sad is that they made it to where kids, the first thing they want to do is call CPS when you spank them.
Yes.
So, yes. I mean, I tell my kids, I'm going to whip your butt in front of them.
That's fine.
And when the cops get home, and when you go to the schoolhouse, they try to tell you can't whip your children. I mean, I can whip mine. I can discipline my child.
Well, I think what they want to do. I think what they want to do is you to have them take them home.
Yeah.
And do it, and then you can just bring
them to the house, right?
They're not missing no school. They're gonna get their butts whipped and go back.
Right.
Lillian Brown said, "Ms. Dunn, we need you back on the board. I've been in the district for 26 years." Tara Ross says, "Let's get it done."
I appreciate that, Mr.
Yeah,
Roy.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
And Cheryl Jackson, for her last comment, she says, "No one wants to test the children. The pattern worked for me."
Yeah, I know they did. I know they did.
Me too, Cheryl.
And if all those that haven't seen my sign, that rotating sign over by Target, it's a really beautiful sign. So just pass by there.
I'm going to see it in a few minutes.
Huh?
Oh,
rotate in the dark.
Yeah, even in the dark. No, the one that shows it rotates.
Okay.
So every 40 seconds it rotates and it's up there for 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna go by and
go check it out.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. Huh?
Until through the 6th, the voting day. So every day it's gonna be up there.
Okay, I'll be there. I'll be down this weekend. Oh, you fancy now? Okay.
Oh yeah, big time, girl. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on.
I appreciate you.
And I would like for all of you guys that can sign up for PAC so you can come and see what we're doing in the district and what these kids are doing. And we're gladly accept your inputs.
And so where do they sign up for PAC at?
The district.
The district.
Okay? Yeah, just call up there and they'll tell you how to get signed up. You got to be vetted, you got to be checked out. But we just want you to come and stand there and see what we see on a daily basis. Okay. And when I have these community meetings, when you vote me back in, show up. I'm gonna buy some chicken wings. I want y'all to show up. Okay.
I want mine.
So that way you can get your concerns to us and then we could help each other. Okay. As a community. And I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, Mr. Dunn, for being on tonight. As you may know, that Mr. Dunn is running for school board trustee.
At large.
At large. He's number one on the ballot. Am I
number
right?
one. Number one at large.
For school board. And so go ahead and vote for Dunn and let it be done.
All right.
So like I said, the polls are closed for tonight. They will reopen on tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they will close at 7 o'clock p.m. tomorrow night. Then they will reopen again on Saturday. We got Tuesday, we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to know who you're gonna vote for. Saturday is the last day for those who have not voted yet. Saturday is election day. Open polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come on, put your voice is your vote.
Yes, it is.
Let's get out there and do what we need to do. Like I always say, too many people have died so that we can have this right to vote. Okay, I love you. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday. This is my last person for candidate. So we're gonna do what we do. Vote, right?
Okay, Deborah and Miss Ozanne on the 6th. Come on down to the Elegante.
I will pass by.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank y'all for having me.
You bet.
You're welcome.